We are alive, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the lack of updates during all of this fun bull market fiasco, but we're going through a little bit of a hurricane season down here in Central America, and we are in the second back-to-back hurricane of this month, and I had no electricity today. I mean, I could use backup power for my phones, but not for the computers to edit stuff like this, so we waited till the evening time. We're going to be taking a look at Bitcoin, our alpha and our omega of the new monetary system as far as we are concerned. The Ethereum chain and network, which basically looks like the surrounding financial infrastructure to our money, and Link, which is one of our price prediction and oracle models that gives us all the information that these things will need to hopefully work together. And we're taking a look at a little bit of the DeFi sector, and then as well, just so everyone knows, let's dive right in and we'll get to the fun part. Bam. Okay, so up on the screen, you can see Bitcoin on the daily, and I always start here for a few reasons. The main one being I like to find some type of patience in these markets. Now, for those of you that have been joining us for quite some time in the private bear den specifically, you will know that we were waiting for this SOS, and here the day has come. Now, there's a lot of excitement the last few days as we look into the 4-hour, and I think there's a very strong feeling that you get when you are nearing, not the top, like we're nowhere near the top in Bitcoin effectively, but this SOS's top is probably not that far off. Now, could we go higher? Could we hit $19,000 or $20,000 in like a crazy blow off for Bitcoin here? Yeah, we saw that in Ethereum during Ethereum's SOS, that it was almost 100% of an extension outside of the original box before the backup phase started to conclude itself. Now, one of the fun things here is that what happens as we start to move in. So again, for those of you that are studying, if you are new to the Arcane Bear family, join the private bear group because that's the easiest way to learn this stuff is in the mastermind. But we've been studying the Wyckoff phaseology, which is just effectively looking at most of our trades in trading ranges. Instead of pennants or inverse head and shoulders, we try to find the range, and then from there we can maybe look for patterns within that range. Now, one of the things that's noticeable is that our SOS is, because it's likely nearing an end here, again, even if it decides to go upwards of like $21,000, the backup phase will complete. Now, how high or how low, I guess more importantly, the backup phase comes down is kind of one of the important questions. Do we come down and test 13,000? Now, one of the ways that I want to look at this is by throwing my moving averages in there, and the 3 moving averages are going to give us a type of sentiment analysis. Now, for those, again, of you who have joined us for long enough, you will know that the 21 moving average on the weekly is a consistent retest of a healthy bull market, and we have not come back down to that area yet. So let's take a look and find out where it's currently sitting. So on the weekly, the 21 moving average is actually sitting down around 11,500. So let's assume, just for fun, that we get this blow off top to $20,000. Just everyone thinks it's going to 100,000 probably at that point too. It's like, oh my god, this is it. It's just going to keep going. This is likely where the backup phase will occur. Now, by the time that happens, as you can see here, our white moving average will probably, which is our 21 on the weekly at this moment, will probably come and end up somewhere between 13,000 and maybe 12,000. I do suspect a backup phase like this would be fantastic. Just one quick last check of the supply before a massive breakout in Bitcoin, probably near the springtime. Now, as we get closer to this, I want to take a look at something that one of the private bear members was highlighting to me just before I started today's video. It was kind of, I mean, what we want to do is we want to find out, are we in a trading range of distribution or reaccumulation? Because right now, Bitcoin is actually looking like it's creating a distribution center top, right? Now, the indicators aren't quite as clear yet, but currently we're seeing lower highs. And although we've got a higher low here, I want to see where this next candle prints us. If this next candle prints us on the 15-minute a little lower, down 17.4, etc., I'm going to be a bit more weary about these positions. So right now we're looking for a potential distribution pattern effectively, where we continue downwards and then we make those final retests and build our new trading range. Or do we go higher? So part of how we like to look at this is just a pretty broad spectrum trading range, right? So here's our horizontal trading range. Now, one of the first clear parts that we can see is that this first volume stick was like our kind of our UT or our up thrust or our UT, and as you can see, a lot of volume came in and not a lot of price action, whereas down here you've got a lot of price spread but very little volume creating that. Here you have almost limited price spread in comparison, but not as much as so limited price spread with a lot of volume and supply coming in. So again, these are the factors that we're looking for that are tending to lead us to the idea that this is likely a distribution pattern, but from there we're going to have to wait and see. Now, I don't want to jump ahead of myself too much here, but I do believe we have to just be patient with Bitcoin. As soon as it starts to close below that or above that box, that's likely where we're going to finalize our positions. Now again, I'm not going to go short here at all. All I'm looking to do is find out when that backup phase comes in and then lean into the rest of my positions as each LPS or last point of supply starts to show itself. Now we're gonna interrupt today's episode and let you guys know that this is actually sponsored and partnered with BlockFi. We've talked about this, that we're gonna do this a few times. So if you go to arcanebear.com/BlockFi and you sign up, you will get up to a $250 bonus. And make sure you spell it correctly, or you can go to Tio can't even spell. That's okay. Arcanebear.com/BlockFi or BlockFi.com/ArcaneBear. Either one of those will work. And as you can see, they've got up to a $250 payout depending on how much you deposit. For those of you that have not tried out BlockFi, this is the perfect time to do so. As you can see, they've got some really great interest rates, up to 8.6% APY on earning. They've got this really cool calculator that I liked as well. So say we're going to put in 1 Bitcoin and we're going to do it over 12 months. We're going to calculate our earnings. You're going to get around $20 per week, or around $1,000 for that year in total interest on top of that Bitcoin. Now that can be paid out in USDC or Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency that you choose. One of the other fun things too is that you can actually take out loans against your Bitcoin, which is nice. And so say you want to take out a loan of $5,000, you've got your collateral, but you don't want to spend your precious Bitcoin, because that would be smart what to do. Here you can go, you can get your rate and you can see, oh yeah, actually I have to log in. So for those ones, please log in. I'm not logged in at this moment, so I won't show you guys. But sign up, log in and see what kind of rates you can get for, here you go, as low as 4.5%. So I guess I'm partially discovering some of this as we go too. I haven't actually borrowed any money from BlockFi before. Maybe we'll try some of those ones out. They're a fantastic company. Again, they've got great backing as well. We were happy to have Flory on the show the other week, but as you see, Morgan Creek Digital, Coinbase Ventures, Winklevoss Twins, Susquehanna, and Galaxy Digital. This is the perfect time. Again, I'm excited about this BlockFi partnership, ladies and gentlemen, because we are also going to be giving money to Kiva. So if you are in the private bear den, we're going to be looking for the next entrepreneur that we make a loan to. So I will post some of the ones in there, and you guys get to vote on which entrepreneur we lend money to as part of this little campaign. So thank you guys all for that. Thank you for BlockFi for partnering and sponsoring one episode a week with us. It makes a big difference, and we get to make loans to underbanked and underserved entrepreneurs around the world. So now we're going to continue with our market sentiment and analysis, and we're going to go back and take a look at Ethereum. Now, Ethereum seems to be doing something very similar as well. Again, if we start here out on the daily, we can see that we successfully had our SOS, which is a big break out of the box, and then the return into a new reaccumulation period. Now, one of the things that's exciting here is that really Ethereum is on the final stages of what's likely a very sharp and fast move. Now, one of the things that's a little concerning is that this actually looks potentially like a small distributive top. And what we know is that you get an SOS and then an LPS. So again, I hope that you guys have been studying. If you do not know what an SOS is, it means sign of strength, and LPS means last point of supply. So what we're looking for are these SOSs and LPSs. And what we want to do, and what I've been doing, is trying to start and fill my positions for my long entries at these LPSs. So part of the question was, will Ethereum come down and back test this $420 area and create a new trading range before actually making its extension and its high? Now, with how much supply came in during this last drop, there might be reason to believe that this is actually turning into a distributive top where you have your primary UT and your UTAD for your final upthrust here. Now, I'm not going to know exactly where I am in this position until we, again, close above or below the box of this trading range. But even still, because of the volatility that was in the markets last night, I closed out of most of my position. And I'm sitting on just a small amount of the Ethereum long that I took at 380, just because things are volatile right now and I don't know what the market's doing. So when the market is doing something that I can't tell what it's doing, I usually just exit the markets because that's the easiest way for me to decide what it is I'm going to do, and I can recalculate and remake assessments later on in the week for what it is I'm going to do. So with a link here as well, we can see some of this weakness again coming into the market in everywhere, although Link is in its final stages. I did get something a little wrong. Again, shout out to Baloo for helping point this one out. Was again through the horizontal box here, where we are actually seeing our spring is likely right here, and you can see this by an increased volume spread. You know, one of the positive things for Link right now is this high amount of supply that came in, but this very thin price spread versus this price spread here and this almost equivalent amount of volume that came in back in November. So there is reason to believe that we are in the very final stages of liftoff for both Link and Ethereum. I took longs in these. I have not closed my long yet with Link, just because I'm not too cautious. I'm not too worried about it right now, whereas Ethereum has more potential supply just sticking around because it's, well, you know, it looks like it did because it had a very sharp drop, whereas here Chainlink did not experience the same volatility and price spread during that previous drop that both Bitcoin and Ethereum experienced. So with Wi-Fi, I wanted to go over this one too. I've started to chart more of these in the US dollar, and I don't really like where this conversation is leading me because it means a lot of the bigger investors here are using the dollar as what they believe their money is, and that's not I'm not a big fan of that. But I wanted to point out again something that Blue had made a bit more clear is these falling horizontal trading ranges. Now we usually look for rising gradient bottoms because they're extremely bullish, but here you can see we had our spring and our backup test here, and we've had these higher extensions in Wi-Fi. Now, we've said many times before that we are quite interested in the DeFi sector, and this is one of the reasons why. Now, I've been sitting very heavily in my Ethereum play, so I wasn't playing Wi-Fi, but I'm quite excited to see that this momentum and this stopping action that came in, because effectively, if you look from the bottom of the spring, at least priced in US dollars, you're talking about a 234% gain already since November 4th. This was that exponential or orders of magnitude higher return that we were looking at from some of these during the bounces. Now, how high could Wi-Fi go? That's a governance model that we haven't really dived into too much. We're waiting for the DeFi deep dive section of our new stuff together to really come out. But in the meantime, just seeing this price action take place does affirm to the rest of our thesis that there is a lot of value and volatility that's likely going to come out of the DeFi sector, so keeping your eyes on it is extremely important. Now, I haven't taken a position in Wi-Fi here, but I know some of the Arcane Bear family did, and look at that, 237% gains since the bottom of that box. Now, I don't like charting in US dollars, but we do seem to be getting, at least since the DeFi sector started, and there's so much more leverage and derivatives and futures contracts and options and all these exotics that come out, it seems like the US dollar or the USDT, and again, there's a lot of hidden risk in USDT. I don't know why people use it as a value structure. Bitcoin is money, so I'm not sure why the market has changed. It could be because there's more old school investors in this ecosystem that are inherently and traditionally more used to using US dollar as kind of the backbone of their supply, I guess. Anyways, we'll keep it at that for this evening. We'll produce another video going over things tomorrow. We do have our margin and our futures educational videos coming out in this next few weeks. We've got 2 new PDFs coming up for all the private Bear Den members, going over reaccumulation. Again, that's a very extremely important part to understand because distribution and reaccumulation can look so similar. And because we're at the very start of the bull market, I hope everyone has been enjoying the ride so far. Yeah, keep your mind calm, do your meditations, invest thoughtfully and act calmly, and this is going to be one hell of a ride. Steve with the Arcane Bear, thank you guys all for joining us this evening, morning, afternoon, or wherever you might be in the world. And thank you to BlockFi, our new weekly partner, for helping produce something positive in the world with our combination effects towards Kiva. So thank you guys all for that, and we'll see you again on the next Arcane Bear episode.